Do not fall for this annuity sales pitch. We're going to read you an email I received from a client I was working with last year, or this year, earlier. But she goes, hey, Josh, we'll call her Mary. Since I last talked to you, I'm afraid I might have done something stupid. This summer, I woke up many mornings with a pit in my stomach, fears that the market was going to severely correct and my retirement savings would drop significantly, because she's trying to retire in March of 2021. I decided to sell my mutual funds and hold them in the money market until after I believe the inevitable correction comes. Well, now it looks like my transaction cost me $33,000 because she got out of the market and she missed a nice little run. And still no correction. So, of course, I feel like my only option is to hold off until the correction comes, still assuming it will. This is the first time I've ever sold stock in anticipation of a correction. And I believe the only reason I did it was because of I had my sights on retirement. Exactly. Meanwhile, I received a cold call from somebody. I thought it was work-related to discuss retirement with me. It turns out it was I was just cold called. Nonetheless, he sells a 10-year index annuity that guarantees I won't lose money if the markets go down. He thought I might want to consider putting $100,000 into this. I listened to one of your videos, Josh, that you said index annuities could be a good product. However, I'm sure there are many options. This particular one is locked in for 10 years before I can withdraw. Do anything you should consider, anything I should consider. Thank you, Mary. All right. So again, annuities are neither good nor bad. They're no different than a firearm. It's an inanimate object. An annuity can be, a firearm can be used to kill a person or to provide food for you as well. So firearms, they just sit there. They don't do anything good or bad until a human being does something with them. An annuity is the exact same thing. They're neither good nor bad. They just are. They are. They can serve a purpose or they can be used badly, but the annuity in of itself is not good or bad. Always remember that. There are good annuities. Annuities are used for good and there are annuities used for bad. Now, this guy right here freaking pisses me off with the way he presents it. So let's go into what he sent here. Here's the benefits of indexed annuities, all right? And this infuriates me. All right, so we got S&P 500 in red, the index annuity in green. And here's his sales pitch. All right, so if you start with $100,000 in 1998, the S&P went up, then down, up, then down, up, and then you still ended up less than the index annuity after 22 years. You can see right here, after the end of 2019. I don't understand why the market at the end of 2019, because 2019 the market went way up. So I don't get that at all. I mean, my goodness, it's 2018 the market was it 2019? Yeah, either way, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, this is just pure wrong, and I'll share with you why. So basically, was the market down in 2019? I thought the market was up in 2019. Hold on, I got to figure this out. Yeah, that's what I thought. S&P 500 was up 30% in 2019. With dividends reinvested. Interesting. Oh, with dividends reinvested, it was up 33%. That's what I thought. So I don't even get where they're getting this from. So at the end of 2019, is that the beginning of 2019? I have no idea. But either way, that must be at the end of 2018, because in 2018 it was down 4.5%. Okay, so they're going to the end of 2018. All right. So then we see they have $257,000 in the S&P 500, and yet their index annuity is worth $287,000. So those, 21 years basically? Yeah, 21 years. The index annuity did better than the S&P 500, right? Well, no, because if you look here, I'm going to see if I can't make this bigger for y'all. For demonstration purposes only, participation rates can change annually. This chart is based on actual rates for the time period from the S&P 500 and does not include dividends. Does not include dividends paid on the underlying stocks. Does not include dividends paid on the underlying stocks. Why would it not include dividends other than to try to undersell the S&P 500 and oversell the annuity? Because the annuities don't include dividends. So if you're comparing apples to apples, you would say, I'm going to compare my crappy old product with that crappy old product. However, that crappy old product, you're not comparing it rightly. That'd be like me using a frickin' a knife where I'm slicing up. I just got done eating some smoked brisket. I'm slicing up the brisket with my knife, and I'm claiming that same knife can butcher a cow. I can't. It can slice up some freaking meat that's filet, but it can't butcher a cow. But to say, look at this sales pitch, I'm showing you my knife is slicing up a piece of filet, but it can also be used to butcher a cow. That's what this is doing here. It's fake, man. It's freaking nuts. Why would you exclude dividends on the S&P 500? So I'm going to get into how evil that is, actually, or maybe not evil, how misleading it is here in just a second. So let's keep going. The chart demonstrates historical performance of the S&P 500 between 1998 and 2017. Well, it's actually 2018, so they need to up their game a little bit. The fixed index annuity is a hypothetical example, uses point-to-point index method based on charges in the S&P 500. Charges in the S&P 500 to calculate the index rate for each term. Is it charges or changes? It's actually based on changes. So this whole thing is jack, man. There's typos. They haven't updated their chart, and yet that's being used to sell you on your retirement money. It's nuts. All right, so let's go to political calculations, and we're going to go to the end of the beginning of 1998, which is what they do, to the end of. Let's just make sure we're comparing apples to apples here. The beginning of 1998. There we go. The beginning of 1998 to the end of 2018. So let's start right there. The beginning of 1998 to the end of 2018, and we're going to hit calculate. And you can see the index price was 963 at the beginning of 1998. The price was 2607 at the end of 2018, 21 years later. That's missing something. The return with dividends. The dividends reinvested gave you a 50% more return than dividends not reinvested. So we take our trusty calculator, and let me just show you how we do this on our trusty calculator. Let me pause it real quick. Take our trusty calculator, our Texas Instruments financial calculator BA2 Plus, and we just use this calculation. We got 21 years, so from 1998 to the end of 2018 is 21 years. All right, we have a present value of 100,000. We have an interest rate per year of 6.8%. We're not putting any money in, and our future value, we're computing future value is 398,000. All right, so we basically quadrupled our money. Now, that is a whole lot different than what this shows right here, is it not? They're showing 257. I'm showing 398 because of the dividends being reinvested. And the way you figure that out is actually quite simple. Just for simplicity, when you see these kind of numbers, you don't have your trusted calculator, just remember, the rule is 72, all right? So our interest rate was 6.8. You divide that into 72. This is literally how you do it. How long does it take for your money to double? Well, you divide your interest rate into 72, or you divide 72 by your interest rate. That's how you do it. This is not Common Core math. I don't know how the new kids do it today, but that's how we learned when I was growing up. And so that means it's going to take 10.5 years to double. 10.5 years of double, almost identical to what we have. We have a doubling of the money and every 10.5 years. We have 21 years, so the money went from 100,000 to 200,000, 200,000 to 400,000 bucks with dividends reinvested. And that, my friends, is just a fact. So that is very misleading because they're missing out on 50% of the upside. If we only got, what do we say, without dividends reinvested is 4.86 interest rate. Yeah, they're spot on. 4.86, about 270 or so. Yeah, right there. So that it's just fake. It's fake. They're lying, and I don't get it. Or it's a error by omission, if not commission. And how they do this, they feed on the fear, like Mary here. Her fears, right there. Look at all the bear markets. Oh my goodness, the bear market's always coming. And they stop at the end of 2009. Why? Because there hasn't been a bear market since. Now, we did finally get one. And this quarter, the Q1 from February to March, the first bear market we've had literally since 2009. We've had a couple instances of down markets in 2011, 2015, Q4 of 2018, but none were truly a bear. So what this is saying here is that, and this is freaking, again, misleading, this is 2009, but this is back, the report 2019. So it's like they just omit 10 years of experience. All right, but even that, I was born in July of 1970. So I'm 50 years old. In the last 50 years, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bear markets. So it's 50 divided by 7, every 7 years or so, we've had a bear market. Not every 5 years like what these guys are saying. Now, if you historically, it's about 5.5 years. That's 100% true. But in the 50 years experience I've been around, we've had a bear market every 7 years. The bear market here in July and October is 3 months. Whoop-de-doo. August as the predecessor to the flash crash, the Black Monday bear market. It's no big deal. These ones were bad. Right there, we're bad. So of the bear markets we've had, and then we had this recent one that was, again, if you would have kept in there, you're fine. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4 significant bear markets that stretched over many months. That was painful. We've also had 1, 2, 3 non-significant bear markets that happen so fast that you just, before you even open your statement, you're back to normal. And they're just selling on fear, man. It's the concern with the bear market during retirement is that your assets could lose value. If that causes you to tap into your portfolio for income to cover living expense, you may be at risk of taking valuable cards off the table. And actually, I agree with that 100%. The issue is, and that's what I'm saying. I don't even have a qualm with annuities. Now, the problem is this, Mary said you got to wait 10 years before you have access to this. So if you're going to wait 10 years before you have access, you might as well just be in the S&P 500. That's a long-term investment. It just drives me up the wall. I'm like, why do you guys have to be like that, man? It's frustrating to know, because I'm sitting there, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. You can sell your product, but in this case, there's really nothing to sell. So we got to commit an error by omission to get people you're preying on people's fear. You're not showing the true story, and the whole thing's frustrating me. Anyway, be careful of these annuity sales pitches. Annuities can work. Annuities are inanimate objects. They do not either do good or bad. They can work in the right case as long as they're sold disclosed. But in this case, it's a way that a guy is preying on your fear, and that's just not good. I don't like that practice. I couldn't get away with that. The insurance guys, I don't know why they get away with it, but that's just bad stuff. Love to hear your comments. Thanks.